Hello and welcome to this very special event. Today I'm going to be doing something that I do not normally do, and that is I'm going to be doing video feedback and critique of the artworks of members of Learn to Paint with Confidence. And I'm really, really excited. There's a great buzz in the community. And I thought I would film it as part of a YouTube video because for me, my own art journey, it's not just getting feedback on my work that I find helpful. I also really learn so much when I can see someone else's artwork being reviewed and critiqued. And I think it can really help open up your inspiration as well and get inspired by other people. And I notice a very similar feeling to those of members in Learn to Paint with Confidence in the community, because in the community, basically, it's a private community where people can upload their artworks. And everyone during the course can offer feedback, encouragement, and offer a bit of critique as well. And I just think everybody really benefits from seeing each other's artwork. So today I'm going to be sharing a few of the members of Learn to Paint with Confidence and their artwork. And we're going to check out what we can glean from their beautiful paintings. So let me just bring up my screen. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to be having a look at Asil's work. Now, this was her original kind of like idea. She was the first one that gave me her artwork, and I think that was like back in February. I kind of had this idea, and it's taken me that long to actually get some time to do it. So I'm really, really excited. So I definitely wanted to do Asil's work first, and as you can see, her work is absolutely beautiful. So let's have a little dive into how we can get some feedback. And I do just want to say, before we go into any of the artworks, Learn to Paint with Confidence is all about trusting your intuition as an artist. So all the feedback or critique I might give today, um, your vision as an artist always comes before anyone else's opinion, because I'm an artist just as you are an artist. And please take my advice with a pinch of salt because I don't have the vision that you have as well. So also just bear that in mind, that I am happy to offer feedback, advice, critique, but please also never lose your artistic vision because of it. So yeah, I just want to make that really clear. So first of all, your paintings are really, really beautiful, really stunning, and I can see that you're still playing around with style a little bit, and which is really great. And I never want someone to settle on the style before they're ready, and just keep experimenting, keep playing with paint and creating paintings till you feel like you are settling onto something that you really enjoy. And when I say settling on a style, I don't necessarily mean subject matter, because as you know me, I love painting flowers and I love painting oceans as well. But I can see a little change in style with the especially the painting technique. You can see the sunflowers one. Is that like a palette knife, maybe, to get some of that texture, which is really nice. And then I can see quite a playful impressionistic style with these, are they poppies down here? So just go with what you really enjoy. I can see a huge improvement in all these paintings with the drawing aspect, especially this magnolia in the bottom. I can see that the drawing itself is really, I get a really clear vision of what that is. And also, I think your values are really incredible. I can get a real sense of depth in pretty much all these paintings. The only one is maybe the lily in the corner. Potentially, that white is a little bit too bright for a highlight, because although something might look white to our eye, when you actually have a look at the true color and just kind of like take that color on its own, sometimes it can be like a warm dull white, or like a gray or something like that. But again, that might be part of your artistic expression. So yeah, just play around with the whites. Again, with this flower, I do like it, so I don't think it's an issue. But again, there could be a bit more playing with maybe the warm versus the cool colors, and the shadows and things like that. So my tip for you next would be to experiment more with color mixing. Now I know this was back in February as well, so during that, during those few months, you might have like experimented and grown as well. But I would recommend for you to really experiment with the color mixing, because one thing I've noticed is that when you've been painting like say a certain flower or even the sea, there doesn't tend to be much change in those colors, if that makes sense. And so, for example, like these greens, it's all the same sort of green. So I would experiment with try adding like different tones within the shades of the colors. So if you've got a green, you might have a bit of like a yellow green, then you might have a bit more of a blue green, and also the variations of like the light and dark as well. So that would be my note for you moving forward, is to experiment with trying to capture some of those more unusual, unique colors that might be there, but it might be very difficult to see. And to do that, I would definitely recommend studying references, whether that's from real life. Um, just as an example, let me just grab something. Let's go with this white. Where am I? Let's go with this white. So I'll just pop me big so you can see what I'm sort of talking about. So if we were going to paint this, we might just like grab the white paint and kind of go in, maybe like white and a grey. Whereas actually, you might think this is the window here and the light's coming in. You might think this white might just have a little bit of like yellow attached to it. Might be like a light yellow or cream. And it might be greyed out with a complementary colour. Whereas this sort of shadow, you might have a bit of blue in it, because especially because I've got a blue top, it might be reflecting on that a little bit. So it's just picking up those differences in the colours and trying to incorporate those as well. But beautiful work, beautiful. Okay, so let's go on to our next artist, Katerina, who I've just seen grow leaps and bounds in confidence as well. And Katerina's an amazing part of the community. She offers so much feedback and critique and encouragement to all the members of Learn to Paint with Confidence. So I really, really appreciate Katerina. And again, I'm seeing so much improvement. It's like every painting you post, I'm seeing huge improvement, huge progress in your skills, confidence in yourself. I can see like the choices that you are making are becoming more and more bold, and that is what sets apart artists, is when you have that confidence to make those bold decisions. That can be the difference between a piece of artwork being like, oh, okay, and a piece of artwork being like, wow, it like hits you in the face. It's so bold. And I love that, especially this jar full of daisies. This is what I mean with the boldness, is the contrast is so high from the white daisies to like the darker, richer kind of like greens in the background. It's not shy, and that's what I love about it. And also your recent seascape, the difference here, I feel so drawn to this seascape in the corner. I think what I love about the difference, especially between these two seascapes, is that this one has a lot of white in, and that's great. I like the texture. I can see a lot of like playfulness in the technique. But this one, a lot of beginner artists would go and add white into these waves straight off the bat, just go in with the white. But I love how you've really carefully considered those more shadowy colors. You've got the cooler tones in there, like the blues and the grays, and then you've got some warmer kind of shadows in there as well. And then you've got the little highlights. And for that, I just can tell that you've really, really studied a reference and tried to capture that in it. And you can tell it feels dynamic. And that's the difference between adding just white as like highlights, or thinking that something's white, or it's adding in those little nuances in the colors, and that's what makes it feel like you just want to dive into it, basically. Again, I see that you've captured that in the clouds as well. There's some yellow highlights in there, and then that's kind of set across on top of the more shadowy blues and the cooler colors. So really beautiful. And what I love about this in particular is the composition. You've got amazing composition because you've got these like power lines grids coming in. I really like the placement of that. And also you've got your complementary colors in there as well. So you've got like this really bright blue with this like really zingy orangey yellow. And I think those colors play off together so nicely. Um, and yeah, leading lines, it's like the lines draw in, all the lines come into the center of the painting. So it really pulls you in. And then for your wisterias, I think we spoke about this before. They're really beautiful, and I love the technique. I can see a lot of texture and a lot of impressionism, and which makes me it draws me into it, because that's the sort of style I love. With this wisteria here, I think a little bit more detail could be added, with maybe just you don't have to add them all over. In fact, that might be overwhelming. Maybe pick a focal point. It could be up here, just to add a few more detailed, like little highlights. So at the moment, I feel like my eye is not quite sure where to settle. It's enjoying looking around, but I kind of need like a base, a focal point where I can land on, go and explore, and then land back on again. And so that would be my critique for this piece. But really beautiful, and I'm seeing so much progress. So just keep on going, keep going, keep painting, and looking forward to seeing your next painting. Okay, so let's go on to Zuzanna. I'm seeing such a style, and I feel like a collection is emerging, Zuzanna, and they are beautiful. I feel very emotionally drawn to these pieces. I think you've really considered colors and the color palette before you've gone into these, and I really, really appreciate that because that's a step that a lot of artists miss as well. So I think that's really considered, and that comes across really well as well. I feel like it's very much a mood captured with each of the different pieces, which is really special because they're all of like the same subject and yet they all feel so different. And I think this, you've really, I mean, I've seen you grow over the past couple of years, and I'm seeing this style and collection emerging of like who you are as an artist. And I think that's amazing that you are experimenting so much with this, and I love to see it. I get a really strong sense of who you are and what kind of artwork you love creating. I feel very settled looking at your work, which is great when you're trying to attract those collectors who want to start investing in your artwork because you come across as very reliable. When I see this collection body of work, I feel safe. And I think it's because they're all so similar and there's a very clear, distinct vision that you are trying to capture. I love your technique as well in the clouds. They're so, so, so beautiful. I love that you're playing around with textures and it's still got like an impressionistic edge, and yet the really clear detail within the focal point, like the edge is so defined and it's like just a pop of contrast. And your placement, where you've placed it, your composition is perfect, like beautiful, especially in this. Like, oh, I love this so much. Like the way the cloud, my eye comes in from the top and it kind of goes round and it circles in to the center. Well, not to the center, but to the center of the sun. But yeah, the composition is really beautiful. And also, I love the values that your sky is so bright against the contrast of the land. So just beautiful. Um, I'd love to offer you some advice, but honestly, my advice is just to keep going, keep painting. Actually, my only piece of advice, and totally take this with a pinch of salt because it's your vision, is maybe a few more layers of paint. I like a little bit of like texture. I can see that you've added more paint here. And I think with these ones, I can see the grain of the canvas. And that's not a bad thing. That's just my personal preference. I like to see like chunky paint or like layers of paint. So that's just an idea. But again, take it with a pinch of salt. And I can't see them as close up in real life as you can. So yeah, just keep going. And I love that you've got them all with a nice backdrop. If you're thinking of selling them, or I don't know if you already are, probably already are. If you're putting these online, people are probably requesting to buy them, I imagine. But if you are, I like how you presented them with a nice light and a nice backdrop. So yeah, awesome job. Love it. And last for today is Iain's work. There's something that's very, very difficult for someone to learn and for someone to teach. And you have it already within you because it just seems to come out naturally for you. And that is storytelling. With every piece of artwork I've ever seen you upload into the community, there's such a strong story within it. And like that is probably one of the most important things for an artist, apart from the obvious like skills section. You know, to be able to tell a story with your art is what will draw in collectors, will give you a very clear, precise being as an artist. You know what I mean? It's what people are drawn to as a story. And when I look at these, I feel very emotionally connected. And that is something that is actually quite scarce amongst painters in general. Like a lot of people might be able to paint something, but it's very hard to put a story within that. And I think everyone can learn from you, including myself, of how can we inject this storytelling into our work. And you capture that beautifully. Like, even I just love all the little details that you capture, because it would be so easy to, if I was like doing a portrait of someone, to say like, "Oh, can you kind of sit down in a chair and kind of look, wistfully into the distance, and I'll paint you or draw you." But you have captured people in their natural habitat, in their safe space, and I think that this could really be like your golden nugget. If you enjoy doing portraits and you enjoy this type of work, I think this could be your superpower, of capturing people in their safe space, in their vulnerable state, I suppose. Almost like you're just a fly on the wall, like they don't even know that you are there, and you can tell their story. The little details I really love that you captured, the headphones, the detail that you put into them, I love. And also like the phone case. I think it's very playful, and I love that. And in this one, I love the colors, the just the different colors on the paper, and it's very it makes me very curious about it. Like, I want to understand, like, who is that figure, what are they doing, why are they sat on the floor, and what's this pink little dash in the background. And it makes me curious, it draws me in, and that's always what we want from an artwork. And this is just stunning, like absolutely stunning. I think you said it was a fellow artist from your art class. Um, my favorite part of this is it like a cloth on the tap? My favorite part. And also, this is like a water bottle or terps or something like this in the background. And because what I love about this is you've got really clear focal points. And actually, I see that in this drawing as well. You've got obviously the sitter, the portrait, but then, which is the main focal point, I would say. But then you have like these little things with the kitchen cloth and his water bottle that are like your second and third focal point. And this is a perfect example of how to have more than one focal point, but still have one main one that you're drawn to, and then the secondary and the third are kind of like little things that pique people's interest to move around the painting. And then you go back to the main focal point again. So just I don't know what critique or feedback I would offer you, in other than really lean into, and this goes for everybody actually, something that you feel like you do well. It's so easy to focus on what we might not do very well and think, I'm not very good at this or at that, and kind of get down on ourselves. And the fact is that every artist has like weaknesses of things we're not amazing at, because not everybody can be amazing at everything. That's just a fact of life. So what makes us special as artists, and what I see people really succeed in, is really just leaning into what makes you different, leaning into what makes you special, instead of kind of thinking, oh, they're like that, I need to kind of meet them where they are because I kind of admire this artist and I want to be like them. Actually, have a think about what is it that you see really speaks out to you in your artwork, and just lean fully into that. It's almost like investing fully into that thing that makes you special. So that is my main piece of advice for everybody. I know there are more artists that have submitted work. So what I'm going to do, because this video is already like nearly 20 minutes long, I'm going to cut them up into different segments and we'll release them over the weeks ahead. But thank you all for your submissions. Also, submissions are now closed because I've had such an influx of artworks. But we'll do it again in the future, no doubt. For those of you that are not members of Learn to Paint with Confidence and are intrigued of what it is an online painting course, and it is designed to help you just let go of feeling like you have to rely on copying someone else or copying tutorials, and really discovering those skills for yourself to create your own unique vision and start creating your own unique body of work, to be an artist. So that's what Learn to Paint with Confidence is all about. And of course, it's getting your confidence up as an artist, because many of us battle with those feelings of self-doubt and things like that. So if you'd like a free taster session on how you can really grow as an artist, take that next step, let go of some of those things that might be holding you back. No doubt, if you were anything like me, then you had this deep-seated feeling inside you that you knew you were drawn to be an artist. And maybe your skills aren't quite where you want to be, but that's totally okay. That's why I made this course, to get you to where you want to be, so that you can live your dream as being an artist, basically. And that's what members of Learn to Paint with Confidence are doing right now. So, yeah, if you want to find out more, get a free taster session to the course in the description box. I'll pop the link there and you can go click on that. And if you've got any questions, just pop them in the comments and I'll be happy to answer. Most of all, I'm wishing you a beautiful inspiration and I'll see you soon. Bye.